Let's turn our attention now to PIP, personal injury protection. So what does that provide, and what do you do with that coverage?
This is a very, very important coverage. Personal injury protection protects you, the injured person, even if it's your fault or not your fault, that you can get your medical bills paid and you can get 80% of your lost wages. Now, what's very important is that you get the right amount of coverage. What I'm seeing in my practice is people they have a good insurance policy on other parts of the products, but when it comes to PIP, they say they have full coverage. And I find out they have $15,000.
So actually stop right there. This term full coverage, and I hear this also. Is that a term without a meaning? That's how I view it.
It is. Full coverage, no one ever gets full coverage because you're never fully compensated. Where PIP works is it's only good for 2 years from after the crash. And as long as the bills are reasonable and necessary, and you haven't gotten the insurance company's doctor to say you no longer need it. So people think $15,000 is full coverage because that is the mandatory amount. So for example, if you're making $50,000 a year in a job and you lose 6 months of work, you're entitled to 80%. If you lose a year's worth of work, you're entitled to 80% of $50,000, which is $40,000. Mm-hmm. But if you only have 15, you'll never be compensated for your lost wages when you need it the most. So it's very important that you try to get $100,000 per person and $300,000 per accident to get I would consider that to be, if you want to use the word full coverage. And ask for what the prices are on that and compare. It's not that much different. Now, be careful of deductibles. Stay away from deductibles. Even if you get a lower coverage of PIP, let's say it's $50,000 per person and $100,000 per accident, do not get a deductible. What a deductible means is that you have to pay for the first $1,000, $2,000. Sometimes I see $10,000. And that $10,000, if you're in a crash and it's not your fault, you can't ask the person who caused the crash to pay that money in your lawsuit. Mm-hmm. So do not get deductibles.
So in the property end, just to summarize here, that may be an okay way to save some money. But in the PIP end, you've talked about here, that's not such a hot way.
It is not, because who can afford the medical bills?
Right.
Most importantly, if you have lost wages, what are you going to do? We don't, you may not have disability insurance. We don't have a safety net in Delaware to be able to collect lost wages when you're disabled.
So if someone's hurt in a car wreck, they can come see you. There's no charge to sit down and talk.
Exactly.
And do you help those folks with this process?
Absolutely. One of the first things I ask them is show me your coverage, your declarations page. So those of you who are watching, pull out your insurance policy, look for the paper that says declarations page, and it will tell you what coverage you have. And if you see 15,000/100 for PIP, or if you see full coverage, call your agent up or go online and look at what your policy says. Because I guarantee you 9 or 10 times it's going to be 15 when you thought you probably got 100,000 or 50,000. So definitely do that after you see this show.
All right, so if you don't have enough coverage, what I'm hearing you say is some of your bills won't get paid, your wages won't get paid,
That's
even
right.
if it's not your fault.
That's right.
And that's why you need to have enough coverage from the PIP.
Right. Now, $15,000 does not go very far.
Right. I mean, we've seen $15,000 medical expenses for a hospital visit sometimes with these tests and everything else.
Exactly.